put us on everything. Gotta be fucking Mazana or something. You proud of me, I'm rockin' Prada or something. Hiding dope in my dress, crackers in my left lane, but I'm staying ahead. Even in the next life, I'm taking this bread. I'm ducking the fed time. Yeah, when everybody left me, I still have my treasures. I never cut them, but if I ever do, I'ma put them in a bag. She a thrill head, in a pill head. Corona season, I finally could walk around with a mask. Ain't smoking no weed, ain't drinking no lean. I'm paying attention to the bag. Ain't popping no perks, I'm staying alert. This money been coming in fast. Got my heart in the cast. She dressing up in her gel. She safe for the sake of all her luck. I'm a rose gold with all your diamonds and accessories too. I know I'm a ugly ass little nigga, but I look better with you. Be putting the SG on everything, for whatever we do. I keep her made in some lingerie, got a see-through roof. I know Lamar gon' win the Super Bowl versus Bust of the Chiefs. Every time look Kodak in Detroit, I got the buffs on fleet. I'm keeping Charlize and Chanel, I don't even care if she sleep. Bulgari diamonds in my hair, she like it more when it's neat. When you been through everything like me, don't nothing seem amazing. Like all the realest niggas been taking the dick up, there ain't none nowadays. Everybody wanna be gangster nowadays. I've been controlling my anger, keep boogers in the face, like I'm still a little baby. Hitting donuts in the rape, just left the yo with little baby. 2 babies on the way, from 2 different ladies that I knew back then. Baby, before I was famous, I was getting my dick sucked by Tierra. And my mama told me I killed me a nigga by Kiera, but she already know. I'm texting on my kill 7 like I'm still selling dope. My people say they proud of me, cause they been seeing my growth. I don't throw money, I left the playhouse, throwing rats out the dope. I don't throw money, I rent the Bay House, throwing rats on the floor. I love you in every form. I told you I ain't playing. Don't leave me money. Let me know you still praying. This time I want everything. Need more money, more dying. This time on everything. I'ma guarantee that you smiling. Don't leave me, meet me. Hold on, let me explain. I'ma put this on everything. Niggas know they ain't sniper game. That's on everything. I'ma kill a nigga by the tennis chain. That's on everything. $1 million in charity, and that's on everything. I just want everything.
Pistol talking to me in 3. Better keep it what he told me. Bag raised with my cousin Meech. Blue you couldn't pull a robbery. Walk to Easy Town, yeah, that is it, yeah. Willie Jordan on the side of me. From Monticello back to Fairfield Lane. Willie Tuck, he went hard for me. Thank you, my name, I miss you. Know you said I'm at odds with the system. Grade day, I been completing every mission. Pull up on the swag and baby need a pension. I told him I got that bag and I'm getting. My mom straight, so I'm fine. My kids straight, I got mine. I'm posted where it ain't good, but I'm out chill with my eye. Across the line, I put my license young and it's been doing time. I thought the news tell you about the slime. Wow. She can't get her own, she won't take mine. Nah, got what you desire, I lost all time. You wasted your own time and you waste mine. Big brother Katie doing fine. Was out the iron collecting money and hits. Post pistol talking to me in 3. Better keep it what he told me. Bag raised with my cousin Meech. Blue you couldn't pull a robbery. Walk to Easy Town, yeah, that is it, yeah. Willie Jordan on the side of me. From Monticello back to Fairfield Lane. Willie Tuck, he went hard for me. Thank you, my name, I miss. Now you know I love my dog, that my fucking nigga. With my nigga, I'm gon' vibe till we don't get no bigger. Man, 10 and I run from the laws, ain't throw my pistol. We meet back up, he ain't got his old crazy ass nigga. I grab my bread and pour some sugar up inside of my water. Hole in the front of my shoe, Balenciaga, my dog. For them hard times, jail time, all day. Grandma, I been taking care of the family, I'm a strong man. 7:30, sun came. Me and Misha ain't get a thing, we stole some cameras, our radio shaking, sold them to the dope man. Boozilla caught a charge from popping cars, this shit insane. He sold the gun that killed his brother, but won't beef with me with this man. Pistol talking to me in 3. Better keep it where they told me. Bag raised with my cousin Meech. Blue you come pull a robbery. Walk to Easy Town, yeah, that is it, yeah. Willie Jordan on the side of me. From Monticello back to Fairfield Lane. Willie Tuck, he went hard for me. Thank you, my nigga, I miss you.
Hey, yo, Yeti, turn that shit up.
Who the fuck these niggas is? Who the fuck these bitches? Who the fuck these people are? Tell them that we can't kick it. Who inside their jeans, I'm too real. I'ma get a nigga wake behind these meetings. Tryna get that huff in my hair jeans and do crisscross. Run $1 million up inside these rap centers. Fuck they think they playing with. Bitch, I make me. I been planning on stacking bands in my city. Thinking about my little brother Kendall, I start venting. Need to call it brother J, yeah, bang outs with they glizzy. Most these niggas scream fuck K-Trey, ain't even fucking with me. Most these niggas gon' die today if they try, know they can't get me. Who the fuck all these new faces around inside my business? I don't remember that face at all, they were with me in the trenches. I don't remember them from my granddad house, I'm serious. They were with me when I was hanging out that car. This ain't realist. Ballerina, we spent the whole cop. Some get spilled in it. I don't know who the fuck these niggas is. Who the fuck these bitches? Who the fuck these people are? Go tell them that we can't kick it. Hold inside their jeans, I'm too real. I'ma get a nigga wet behind these niggas. Tryna get that hoe from my hair jeans and do crisscross. Run me $1 million
Hey,
up
yo.
inside these rap
Cross young boy, then you cross the queen. All them internet games turn boys to memes. Heat sleeping on the team, we gon' pause your dreams. They want action? Tell my niggas cause a scene. Fully active. I keep my shooters in the gym, nigga, practice. These bitches know it could get sticky like a cactus. I'm the one that they trail like tractors. And still can't catch a break like fractures. I don't fuck with them, I'm too real. Wanna be me, but you keep wishing. All up on the star, how I pinky swear. No matter what, you ain't winning. Who the fuck is these bitches? Who the fuck these niggas is? Who the fuck these people are? Tell them that we can't kick it.
Bo came home and you know how you play. Now it's time for the yeah with the yeah. Shorty know I don't want no ass. She been acting real bad like she scared for the pull up with the head. I been on the corner all night, posted up with the dope boys. Know that they hustle whenever you see. 182 only added a sleeve. I bought the runner key under the seat. I already know that I'm in the streets. Toyota key and this bitch clutching bag. in the beat on. Shoot out inside of the day, then we leave. Ducking from police, I'm ducking off Cody. With a strap and a whole lot of racks in my jeans. Give VPN for the fuck up the trap. But make sure it ain't no location on me. My education, it come out the street. Flooded the bases, they here to see me. I miss that Gucci on top of Chanel. I'm in this bitch kicking shit like a player. 3 make the hoe go and drive to the cell. VVS diamonds, them VVS diamonds. Time to pull up, so we stop at the shell. Inside of the city, I'm dead where he live. I'm on location, they play for the gigs. We go check out the scene after somebody kills. Through the night, popping this shit and we leaving them dead. We be popping this shit, we be popping this shit. When they try, we go to war, put it all on the line. Know we get to every one of us slime. Pray and do it, hope not one of us die.
Alright. I'm about to get right to it. Alright, so we got visiting the most crowded island on Earth. Alright, let's get it straight to it.
An area of just 1% of a square kilometer in size, where 816 people squeeze their entire lives. The island is so full that a guy does his daily workout routine near a dog feces, and chaotic life here creates new adaptations. Since we arrived on the island, we've been constantly encountering people no matter where we turn.
People come out from every corner.
It's impossible to be alone on these crowded streets. Each house here has dozens of people living together in tiny rooms.
How many people live in this room?
About 10.
This is an average room of an average house. You will be shocked when you see how other people live. But these people have a much bigger problem than these houses, which makes life so extremely terrible here.
Welcome to the most densely populated island on Earth.
A 2-hour boat ride away from the mainland of Colombia, the island is just a little bigger than a football field in size and has a density of 68,000 people per square kilometer. Even in Hong Kong, known as one of the most densely populated cities in the world, this rate is 6,749. There are only 4 streets, and the place is entirely constructed of concrete. They don't have cars or motorcycles here. We feel the density as soon as we step onto the island. The sounds of people, roasters, waves, and music all mixed together. The homes here tell the story of the island. Let's get inside one now.
Can we see inside your house?
Yes, you may. See, I don't have anything. Sorry, it's a little dark inside. We don't have electricity here.
You can see that
That voiceover work was crazy. I ain't gonna lie, that voiceover work was mad crazy.
they have some laundry work in the hallway and they leave them to dry in this open area. Let's start with this room. Homeowner says 10 people share these 3 beds together.
This is my room.
How many people sleep on that bed?
3.
What about this room?
She's not allowing us to enter this room as it's too unorganized.
Kids used to sleep here. Since it is too hot, we take the mattresses out of the room because there is no electricity.
Yeah.
7 kids are living in this room alone. They're making use of every bit of space, even the walls. Because they don't own a wardrobe, their clothes, shoes are all over the place. The kitchen is far from being clean because of the water shortage. People use water only for drinking. All other reasons have to be disregarded. Almost any time on the streets we see laundry hung up or just left lying around. Some barbers at work. Chairs spilling out of homes. Children constantly running up and down. 220 families live in houses illegally built. Here, permission is not obtained from any authority, and no one is officially a landowner. Everybody builds their houses wherever they want. When they can't find any space, they build on top of existing buildings. The buildings are so intertwined that sometimes they have to walk through each other's homes to get to the other side. As we get to know islanders more and more, we will discover a very different reason why their future is going to get even worse. Population density defies all logic. We see dishes and leftovers everywhere, and this dog is trying to eat the crumbs left on the spoon. Some people are fishing, others selling food on street corners, and some working on construction. A few are trying their luck with a lottery machine brought to the island, dreaming of becoming rich. As this all happens, there's a birthday celebration, and the party sounds can be heard everywhere. People are striving for comfort in their little space.
Is this her own house or is she on a rent?
My own house.
What is the average rent here?
There are some who pay rent, because there are people who are not from here. They pay $50 to $75. Usually the only utility they pay for is electricity.
There is a crowded family here. They gave the second floor to their married children so that they can stay there.
It seems they have a communal life here.
For you to have a better understanding how small this island really is, I came to the furthest side of it, and I will walk to the other side. And while doing that, I'll start a timer. Let's see how many minutes it will take.
We're trying to find our way among the maze-like narrow streets. Privacy is impossible here because with every step we pass through someone's life. Kids dominate this island's population. Even a space of 4 or 5 steps turns into a vast playground in the imagination of these children. Island has 1 school, 1 church, 1 clinic, 1 hotel, 1 restaurant, and 3 markets. 200 years ago, none of these streets, this chaos, garbage, mosquitoes, and the people were here. According to a legend, some fishermen discovered this island and spent the night here when it was too late to return. Then they decided to settle here with their families after sleeping well without mosquitoes. It was later artificially enlarged by compressing coral rocks, seashells, and waste year after year.
It took less than 2 minutes.
We met a 94-year-old lady who witnessed everything here.
Was she born on this island?
She never left, not even a single day.
Fishermen first came from the Baru region. They started to expand the islet, and in 100 years the islet became like this. There were no motors back then or anything like that, only small canoes with paddles. If I remember it correctly, when I was born there was only this house and a few more houses. The rest was nothing.
We are blessed to be located on the world's second largest coral reef with its amazing, amazing sea life. Waves that rise 20 to 30 meters in the open ocean are reduced to merely 25 to 30 centimeters when they reach our shores. Look, all that you see around the island, up to 5 or 6 miles off the coast, is surrounded by pure coral. We're safe here.
How many people live here?
2 families live here. Each family consists of 6 members, 12 people in total.
Where is the kitchen?
The kitchen. The stove goes here. That's not a problem. We cook with propane gas.
Dogs can't grow anymore once they hit a certain size because of not getting enough nutrition. Life here is really limited for every creature. Here, we meet the nurse who has helped almost everyone come into the world healthy.
40 years of delivering babies.
How many babies?
Oh my goodness, I've lost count. I don't even remember. Most of the youth in this town pass through these hands that you see. I delivered almost everyone on this island, and now I'm delivering even their children's children. And I've never had a baby die. Little children with vomiting, a high fever, or diarrhea come to me. I tell them what to do or which medicine to take. I'm like a doctor. Everyone knows me here.
The lack of modern healthcare services on the island poses a risk in emergency situations. But as you will understand by the end of the video, their real problem is so much more vital. By the way, according to the locals, the average life expectancy on the island is 85 to 90 years.
My sister died at the age of 103.
People get to go beyond these limits only after they lose their lives because there is no cemetery on this island where people can bury their loved ones as there is no land to dig. After the corpses are toured around the square with a ceremony, they are then taken to the mainland by a boat and buried there. What is the average age for girls to get married or have a child?
Typically, girls are 16 years old when they have their first children. This also applies to their children when they get to that age.
There is no family planning and the population keeps growing rapidly.
How many kids do people usually have?
Here, from 2 to 5.
Family life here is uniquely laid back. Most of the couples are together without any official marriages. Also, it's not unusual for people to have kids with more than one partner, but that's part of life here.
Is she married?
I have a husband, but I'm not married.
Oh, really?
Which means it's all free union. Free.
Also, people don't care about their personal space and joke around all the time.
One of the biggest problems of the island is trash. Some of these will be in the ocean. Some of these will be sent to the mainland. But you can feel the smell and the amount of mosquitoes wherever you go.
Is it filming?
Most of the waste is hidden in the ocean. Without thinking twice, people just throw their loads of garbage into the water, which they see as a dumping ground. Plastics, glass, and metal pieces. But what you will see next will make you feel more disgusting. Unbelievably, even a toilet can be found at the ocean floor. The crabs swimming in this pollution are some of the important food sources for the residents. And these broken cages were used to hunt these animals.
There are some plastic bags in the ocean. People are fishing. These women are washing their clothes. Life is chaotic here.
Access to electricity and drinking water here varies depending on the weather conditions. Solar panels are here.
This is the way they produce electricity for the island.
We have 380 solar panels and 180 batteries, which gives us energy for everything.
If the weather is sunny, electricity is provided between 12 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Is there something that she wants to change in this island?
Mainly the electricity. Look, today we've been without electricity for 4 days.
All the greens are hot.
You see tomatoes and peppers. Since there isn't enough power, these are not very fresh.
These power generators are working.
Almost everything people need is provided in the 3 markets on this main street, including medicines. This is the trading center of the island.
There's another shop here. You can buy some t-shirts and shorts.
We have a lot of wind here. The salt carried by winds damages our devices.
The real struggle begins with the obtaining of drinking water, as there is no tap water in here. As you see, they gather the rainwater with these pipes. Not even a single drop of water is wasted.
Drinking water?
Crazy.
We suffer a lot. There, below the health center, we have a community tank that we call the lung of the island.
Crazy.
When it rains, the joy is so immense here that we go partying that day. Here, the drought scares us so much. It takes 7 to 8 months to get some rain here. We store that precious liquid and then we distribute it to all the families equally without skipping anyone. The Navy sees the problem we have here. They let the mayor's office use their ships so that they could bring us some water. This helps a lot.
Now we have some water. All the tanks are full because it has rained.
Also, the island doesn't have any sewage system. Even though rain means good news in terms of water supply, rainfalls are bringing life into the edge of a chaos. Since the enlarged areas of the island are not solid, hurricanes or a heavy rain makes houses and streets unusable.
What does he not like about this island?
The only bad thing is the rainy season. When it rains, the tides rises. All these streets are flooded with seawater. More in September and October. During those months, if these houses didn't have these raised floors, the rainwater would enter the rooms.
Keep in mind that they are also without electricity during these seasons.
We are in the heart of Santa Cruz del Islote. This is the only monument on the island, and it is called La Patrona.
Monument protects us from hurricanes.
We are inside the small church of this settlement. It seems like it needs some repairing.
Are you the priest?
I am the leader.
There are many young kids on this island. What will their future be like?
After they finish primary school, they don't go on to further studies. Their parents don't have the means to send them to the mainland.
So there are 240 students on this island and 12 teachers.
Welcome to the only school on the island.
This is a classroom for the grade 1. Since there is no school in the neighboring islands, students from there also come here. And their school service is of course a boat. Every young boy here loves playing soccer, even the girls.
What do you want to become when you grow up?
A soccer player.
Where do they want to play?
In Madrid. The Paris team. In Argentina.
Locals are earning their living by tourism. Qualified as a national park, the island charges $2.5 from the tourists for the entrance. With the arrival of these hundreds of tourists every day, a much bigger chaos appears on the streets.
For us, tourists are a blessing from God. They are a source of employment, directly or indirectly.
I am a bartender.
What is the average salary or profit for a person here?
It depends very much on the season. There is a guy who goes diving. If he's lucky, he can make $30 per day. If there are a few tourists, he can only earn $15. A bartender, depending on the tourism season, after expenses and paying workers, can make $50 per day.
This is if they can attract foreigners. Here there is an aquarium built for tourists where locals keep fishes, sea turtles, and even sharks in a very limited space. Famous for allowing tourists to swim with these animals, this place significantly contributes to the local economy. Fishing is very important as well, but the people don't really value what the environment provides for themselves. The islanders now have to import fish because of marine pollution and overfishing.
When you go out fishing, you no longer catch the same amount of fish. That is to say, right now, the fish in the restaurants is brought here from the mainland.
This is the only hostel of Santa Cruz del Islote. Let's go inside. A peaceful atmosphere is created for the tourists here. It looks like a silent shelter in chaos. Despite this crowd, there is not even a single police that provides security, nor a state of law on the island. Since everybody knows each other here, they don't need for it.
Look, we have 800 people here and we have no police. So you don't see robberies, muggings, or stabbings. We live peacefully here.
Our police here are older adults. We respect them so much here. If there is an argument, a misunderstanding, or a fight, the older adults set in and grab us, find out who is right, and then give us advice. Then, we shake hands and keep on being the same brothers and sisters with no hard feelings.
Does he have plans to migrate to somewhere else?
I'll spend my entire life on this island. I was born and raised right here. I'm going to die right here.
In the evening, residents are more active and everywhere
That's
is more
real.
crowded since the weather cools off. When the sun goes down, the island gets completely dark because there isn't electricity at night. People use candles or flashlights of their mobile phones, which are charged during certain hours to brighten the night. Everyone goes outside of their doorsteps because their houses are very tiny and dark. Besides, there is nothing to do inside of the houses. The darkness never prevents the island's vibrant spirit. There's also a little pub where everyone gathers. Most of the locals drink a lot during the night. We hear Latin music all the time. People are singing and dancing together. Some of them play domino, a very popular game here. And the birthday party is still going on. Some of the garbage from this event is already piled up here. Most of these people, living in isolation from the rest of the world, have never left these boundaries in their entire lives. They have no desire to leave their small world or to strive to improve their living standards with each passing day. The island community has a deep bond to their homeland, and they focus on shared happiness and positive values.
The biggest problems of Santa Cruz del Istote are the lack of clean water and insufficient cleaning garbage. Island is not in a position to accommodate more people. Despite all the negatives, people are connected to each other like a big family and are happy. Thank you for watching this documentary. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you in the next
W video. That shit's crazy, man. That shit's crazy. Alright. Alright, next up we got 10 most disturbing things caught on doorbell camera footage.
In this first video, this house's Ring doorbell captured a man walk up to the front door in the middle of the night. But rather than actually knocking on the door or ringing the doorbell, the man pretends to do so. At first it seems odd, until you realize what's actually going on. Near the left side of the screen, a car's headlights can be seen. It's clear whoever is driving the vehicle is making this guy walk up and talk to the house owner for a seemingly sinister purpose, as the guy obviously doesn't want to do it. I mean, so much so that he fakes knocking on the door and even fakes a conversation with the house owner, all the while making sure the driver can see him doing so.
Bro, what the fuck? Bro, what the hell he got going on, bro? That nigga on some weird shit.
Okay. Sorry about that. Sorry.
From the fake conversation, it's clear the driver wants the man to look for someone named Matt. One comment guessed the man could have been being forced to rob the place, but didn't want to do it, making him fake the whole situation and claim no Matt lived there. But to this day, the real motives of the driver are still unclear. This footage features a random woman walking up to someone's front door. The woman clearly isn't acting normal, or at least until a car passes where she breaks character so as not to draw attention to herself. After the car is gone, the woman can be seen putting her face right up to the camera.
What the hell?
After watching the disturbing footage, the house
she is trying to give whoever that house owner is, she was trying to get that nigga neck. That's what that meant. She was waiting outside.
The camera video shows the horrifying early stages of a fire in a neighbor's property. As the video goes on, you can see as the fire gradually continues to grow, so much so that it eventually reaches the house with the doorbell camera. At the time of the fire, the house owner himself was asleep, though he would be woken up by multiple notifications on his phone claiming motion was detected by his doorbell camera. After reviewing the footage, the house owner would frantically run to get a fire extinguisher and desperately attempt to put the fire out.
Oh, hell nah. Bruh. This nigga standing there
After
trying to
realizing
put
too
it
late,
out.
the house owner would escape through the house's back door. It's pretty safe to say that the motion detected notifications that woke up the house owner saved his life that night.
Hey, want to know how I got this $50,000 check for an accident I was involved in over 5?
That nigga was finna burn alive, bruh.
Video. There's a little known loophole.
This video captured a woman frantically knocking on this house's front door. As she continues to do so, she can be seen constantly looking behind her. And that's when you realize why. A man walks up to the woman and proceeds to grab her firmly, telling her to get into the car. All the while, the woman can be heard pleading for him to stop.
What the hell? She needed help, bruh. She was trying to get away from somebody.
20-year-old Victor Kucic, and he would ultimately be charged with third-degree felony kidnapping.
See? She needed help, bruh.
This Ring doorbell starts off showing the house owner simply doing her laundry. Though, before she can even enter the laundry room, she can be seen pausing. And the audio from the clip makes it clear as to why. A voice can be heard desperately pleading for help, though it's unclear as to where the voice is coming from. Clearly disturbed, and worried it could have been someone hiding around her property, the woman would end up calling the police.
I looked around, I didn't see anybody out on the road or any cars or anything. So I went back to my Ring video to make sure I wasn't just creatively hearing something.
I can hear somebody saying something, but I can't.
Well, I posted it on there.
The police would search the whole property, but find absolutely nothing. And to this day, it's still unclear whose voice was talking, or even where it was coming from. This doorbell camera footage seems to have captured an almost transparent-looking figure walking across the house owner's property in the middle of the night. The figure looks to have no face, and seems to slowly become less visible as it continues to move. The audio from the video reveals the noise of very faint footsteps. After reviewing the footage and examining around the property, the house owner found nothing out of the ordinary, and it's still unclear what exactly was caught on video that night. The owner of this house would wake up to a notification on his phone telling him motion was detected at his front door. And after reviewing the footage, this is what he found. There was an old woman with a knife just standing at his front door, constantly shifting her body weight from side to side. The woman can be seen awkwardly holding and looking at the knife, as well as constantly glancing all around her. After a few more seconds, the woman finally attempts to ring the doorbell, but seemingly can't bring herself to do it for whatever reason.
That's an addict right there, bruh. I ain't gonna lie.
After 2 minutes of footage, it cuts off. It's still unclear who this woman was, or what caused her to walk up to a stranger's front door wielding a knife. After hearing his doorbell go off, this San Diego house owner would look at his doorbell camera through his phone, and the camera revealed a supposed door-to-door salesman waiting outside. The house owner decided to confront the man with the doorbell speaker, and that's when the salesman claimed he was looking for the Robinsons' residence at 712, which was not the house he was at. After being informed of this, the salesman would politely apologize for the mix-up.
This is the Robinsons' residence at 712?
No, you're at the wrong house. It's 721.
Oh, I apologize for that.
Suspicious of the encounter, the house owner would send the footage to the local police department, who, disturbingly, confirmed that this exact man was suspected of breaking into at least 19 homes and impersonating a salesman to do so. The man has yet to be caught by police. Likely taking place during the whole killer clown craze of 2016, this Ring doorbell caught the exact moment someone dressed in a clown costume walked up to its front door. The person can be seen tilting their head and slowly walking up to the door, almost the whole time staring directly into the camera. While it's most likely just someone trying to scare people, there's a small chance something a lot more sinister is going on here.
He would have been shot for some shit like that. Not by me. I ain't even gonna shoot a nigga for nothing like that, but it's people that would. Definitely people that would. Without a doubt. That nigga goofy.
To this day, it's still unclear whether the house owner experienced anything further regarding the situation.
That was some goofy shit. What's this most disturbing things caught on dash cam? 8 most disturbing things caught on dash cam footage.
In this first video, the dashcam footage from a truck caught the exact moment an ambush took place. The video clearly shows as multiple people alongside the highway use an improvised roadblock made of tree branches to force drivers to stop. The people responsible were multiple illegal immigrants angered by a recent demolition of a makeshift camp they had set up. As soon as the truck stopped, they would climb the guardrail and throw multiple sticks, rocks, and even lumps of concrete at the driver. Luckily, the driver would make it past the roadblock, though he would claim that in the moment he feared for his life, and unfortunately he would receive multiple wounds from items thrown through the windshield that would ultimately require him to seek medical attention.
What the fuck?
This footage takes place at 1:30 a.m. on a Sunday, and it features dashcam footage of a car traveling along a quiet stretch of road in the country. As the car approaches an intersection, a hooded man can be seen standing with his head bowed in the middle of the road. As the car gets closer, the man can be seen attempting to walk in front of it, forcing the driver to stop. And that's when the man can be heard screaming as he lunges towards the car, which of course would force the driver to step on the gas and get out of there.
Hey, that nigga was trying to hear that song you playing.
The driver claims that after the encounter, he would frantically try to call and warn his wife, who was traveling on the same road about a minute behind him. Unfortunately, he wasn't quick enough, which would cause his wife to experience the exact same encounter. To this day, the couple claims they were unsure of whether the man was trying to rob them, take their cars, or hurt them in some way or another. This next footage takes place on a dark and isolated road. It starts out with nothing out of the ordinary, when just as the car rounds a bend, an out-of-place figure wearing a suit with a briefcase and an umbrella comes into frame. And directly after, another identical man can be seen. The men would retreat into the long grass, where suddenly it's clear there are multiple men looking identical to each other. They seem to have been startled by the vehicle, as if they had been caught, when suddenly, further down the road, yet another figure can be seen, this one holding a flare. It's still unclear what happened next, or what the driver truly witnessed that night. Though, many believe the driver had drove right in the middle of a cult, taking part in a ritual of some sort.
Goofy ass shit.
In this video, you can see the dashcam footage of a parked vehicle in the middle of an October day in 2014. From the audio, it's clear someone is inside the car, as you can hear the window roll down, followed by the driver saying how creepy something is. And that's when you realize what the driver is talking about, as you can see a man wearing a disturbing looking mask walk around the vehicle. According to the driver, there were 5 others with the same mask on not visible from the dashcam. Though, even still, it's clear the driver thinks it's a joke, as you can hear her laughing. But that's when the masked men break one of the car's windows and proceed to rob the driver of all her valuables. The whole while, horrifying screams from the driver can be heard.
Consumers are facing during the decline in the U.S. economy. The Internal Revenue Service may not be expecting settlement from consumers and back taxes. Where'd you get it? This may result in back taxes being reduced by thousands of dollars. An open phone line.
She thought shit was sweet. She thought shit was sweet. That man right there heard it, and he ain't did nothing. He's just sitting there at the door looking, he ain't do shit.
This footage was taken in the middle of the night in a desolate field located in Saudi Arabia. Almost right away, you can see as the driver is slowly approaching a white figure that looks to be holding a cane off in the distance. As the footage progresses, the white figure starts limping towards the vehicle, and after a few seconds, the driver can be heard panicking. After a while longer,
run that motherfucker over. You in the car and you panicking for what? Run that motherfucker over and go on about your day.
The figure continues to move towards the driver. And
like, come
now
on,
obviously
bruh.
terrified, the driver can be heard yelling commands at the figure that can basically be translated to back up and get away from my car. Near the end of the video, the figure can be heard making a shrieking noise directed at the driver. The video itself is no doubt disturbing, and it's still unclear what the driver had actually caught on video that night.
Fuck. Bro, that shit goofy as hell. Fucking weirdo. This nigga a weirdo.
This footage comes from a police cruiser's dash cam. And in the footage, you can see as 3 officers are attempting to assist the owners of a car that had broken down on the side of the road. Though, as the footage progresses, the officers look behind them as if to react to a noise. And that's when all of them desperately try to get out of the way of a car coming straight towards them at an extremely high speed. The car would barely miss the officers and come to a screeching halt further down the road. The driver of the vehicle was discovered to be intoxicated 26-year-old Cedric Keith Henson Jr. Though the parked vehicles would receive serious damage, luckily no one was hurt.
Damn, boy.
Back in 2016, a sort of killer clown phase would shake Americans for a few months. It basically consisted of multiple people dressing up in clown costumes. For many, the motive was simply to scare people, though others would actually rob and even kidnap people. And during that time, in 2016, a family would drive home in South Yorkshire late at night when their dashcam would capture a clown step out in front of their vehicle. The clown would proceed to just stand there and wave, until after a few seconds, the clown would sprint towards the vehicle. The driver of the vehicle would desperately go in reverse, until finally going back in drive, forcing the clown to get out of the way.
Fucking goofy. Goofy ass nigga. Some people really be scared of them clowns, though.
This video shows the dashcam footage of a police cruiser
Like, they be
located in
really scared of
Texas.
them.
In the video, you can see as the car in front of the police cruiser suddenly swerves and brakes in an attempt to avoid an object on the road. As the cruiser gets closer, it's revealed that the object is a woman lying passed out on the road. Luckily, Sergeant Scott would stop to help the woman by waking her up and getting her on her feet. The woman was overall suspected of having been intoxicated when she ran her car into a nearby ditch and walked back up the road just to pass out moments later. What's terrifying is just how many times she had been almost ran over prior to Sergeant Scott stopping to help her.
That's insane. Almost killing her, bruh. She got ran over right there, it would have been done. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Alright, next we got the 30 most dangerous bridges in the world. Let's get it.
Facts Verse presents the 30 most dangerous bridges in the world. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe and click that notification bell so you can stay up to date with all our videos. Crossing bridges should be easy, but there are some bridges that are more dangerous than others. These bridges seem to defy gravity, safety, and even your wildest expectations. Here are the 30 most dangerous bridges in the world. The Royal Gorge Bridge. Colorado's Royal Gorge Bridge is a suspension bridge that spans over the Arkansas River in the U.S. At a height of 955 feet, it's the country's highest suspension bridge. Visible are the steep granite walls of Colorado Royal Gorge that drop quickly nearby. Don't look too closely, though. It really is a long way down. The Monkey Bridges. The Monkey Bridges is a term for several bridges over the Mekong Delta in Vietnam. These bridges are often simple in construction and can consist of as little as one bamboo log for the main span. Locals can easily walk across these bridges, but outsiders often have trouble keeping their balance. The monkey bridges got their name from how people are said to look when they cross them. So if you're walking like a monkey, you're probably doing it right. The Husseini Hanging Bridge. Pakistan's Husseini Hanging Bridge is considered to be one of the most dangerous bridges in the world. It's one of many in the country's Hunza region. This particular bridge spans Horit Lake and is constructed out of wooden planks unevenly spaced over several ropes. Look out for high winds. The 7 Mile Bridge. The 7 Mile Bridge spans between Knights Key and Little Duck Key in the Florida Keys. It's a highway bridge built directly into the shadows below. Relatively safe in good weather, it isn't as friendly during hurricanes, which have historically caused damage to its nearby predecessor. The Deception Pass Bridge. Washington State has a pair of 2-lane bridges that connect the islands of Pass, Fidalgo, and Whidbey. These bridges are collectively called the Deception Pass Bridge. They stand 180 feet high and can accommodate car traffic and pedestrians. Rolling fog can make the bridges dangerous. The Lake Pontchartrain Causeway. The 2 bridges that make up Louisiana's Lake Pontchartrain Causeway are the world's longest continuous bridges over water. At a length of over 23.8 miles, the causeway connects the cities of Metairie and Mandeville. It's good in fair weather, but hurricanes are another story. The Canopy Walk. Ghana's Kakum National Park has the Kakum Canopy Walkway, a 130-foot high path that connects 7 bridges in a tropical rainforest. The walkway is made of rope, wood, and aluminum. Oh, and plenty of safety netting. It still is a long way down. The Langkawi Sky Bridge. The Langkawi Sky Bridge is on the Malaysian island of Pulau, Langkawi. It's over 320 feet high and over 2,000 feet above sea level. The 410 curved pedestrian bridge connects 2 locations on a mountain peak and was constructed using helicopters. Wow. The Mount Titlis Cliff Walk. The Mount Titlis Cliff Walk in the Swiss Alps is 10,000 feet above sea level. With a width of roughly 3 feet and icy cold mountain conditions, you'll want to hold on. The Vitim River Bridge. The Vitim River Bridge spans the Vitim River in Siberia, Russia. It's a 6-foot wide old train bridge consisting of relatively loose wooden planks with almost no guard railings. The bridge is 50 feet above water and can get icy. The Puente de Ojuela. The Mexican Ojuela Bridge, or the Puente de Ojuela, is an 890-foot suspension bridge in the city of Mapimi, Mexico. Locals used the bridge for mining when it opened in 1898. Now, it's too dangerous for car traffic and only pedestrians are allowed. The Quepos Bridge. In Costa Rica, the Quepos Bridge is along the road between the cities of Jaco and Quepos. Locally, it's known as the Bridge of Death. And, oh my god, the wooden crossing takes pedestrians and traffic, but only in one direction.
Why the fuck would you get on a bridge called that?
The Sunshine Skyway Bridge. Florida's Sunshine Skyway Bridge spans Tampa Bay and connects the cities of St. Petersburg and Teresita. It's over 4 miles long. In 1980, a freighter crashed into the bridge's predecessor and killed 35 people. Although the bridge today is structurally safer, over 200 people have used the bridge to commit suicide since 1987. The Ashima Ohashi Bridge. Japan's Ashima Ohashi Bridge is the 3rd largest rigid frame bridge in the world. The 144-foot structure connects the cities of Sakai Minato and Matsui. Although the bridge looks daunting, it is a matter of perspective. It only has a gradient of 6.1%. A 100% gradient is 45 degrees.
Really? Look like
the Bridge of Immortals. The Bridge of Immortals is in Huangshan, China. It spans between 2 sheer granite rock mountain faces. Although it's a simple arch bridge, its position makes it imposing. The Montenegro Rainforest Bridge. The Costa Rican rainforest has a canopy walkway of its own. The suspension bridges of the Montenegro rainforest overlook the lush environment there. Occasional missing planks will keep you on your toes. The U-Bain Bridge. Myanmar's Tong Thaman Lake has a wooden bridge that was built in 1850. The U-Bain Bridge stands as one of the oldest and longest teakwood bridges in the world. Many of the bridge's pillars have been replaced by concrete, but further decay is possible. The Storsai Sundet Bridge. The Storsai Sundet Bridge looks a bit like a roller coaster, but it is a cantilever bridge with a steep arch. It connects the municipalities of Averoy and Hustadvika in Norway. All told, this one may be more fun than dangerous. The Carrick Arid Rope Bridge. The Northern Ireland island of Carrick Arid has a 66-foot-long bridge that is 98 feet over the sea below. The Carrick Arid Rope Bridge connects the island to the Irish mainland. There's a fee to cross, so pay the fare and dare. The Sidhu River Bridge. The Sidhu River Bridge is the world's second highest bridge by elevation. Standing at 1,627 feet, the bridge towers over China's Hubei province. It is a highway suspension bridge over 4,000 feet long. What a commute! The Mekong River Crossing. This bridge over the Mekong River, a waterway that flows in China, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Myanmar, and Laos, consists of only 2 wires fastened to each other and to the opposite banks. You first. The Millau Viaduct. The Millau Viaduct is a bridge that spans over the Tarn River near Millau, France. It's the world's tallest bridge structure. With a tower height of 1,104 feet, its spires are taller than the Eiffel Tower. The Iya Kazurabashi Bridge. Made of mountain vines and wooden planks, Japan's Iya Kazurabashi Bridge spans the Iya Valley in Tokushima, Japan. Though it dates back to the 15th century, it is rebuilt every 3 years. Still. The Mystery Bridge. This bridge in Indonesia hangs to its side and is almost out of commission. Almost. It's still a viable bridge for both the adventurous and the accustomed. The Trift Bridge. The Trift Bridge in Switzerland is a simple suspension bridge that is 328 feet above sea level. Only open to pedestrians, this bridge spans the Trift Sea Lake in the Swiss Alps. Definitely not for the faint of heart. The Hanging Bridge of Gasa. The Hanging Bridge of Gasa is a Nepali bridge that spans a valley in Gasa, Nepal. Both humans and animals use it, so make sure you have the right of way. The Longjiang Suspension Bridge. The Longjiang Suspension Bridge is one of the longest and highest suspension bridges in the world. Completed in 2016, it stands 920 feet above the Long River in Yunnan, China. Don't look down. The Root Bridges. Some suspension bridges in the Indian state of Meghalaya are made out of tree roots. The subtropical climate allows for rubber tree plant roots to be molded.
A lot of that shit don't look real. It don't look real, and then when you see the video, like, bruh, damn. But it don't even be looking real.
Into walkways. Pretty cool. The Taman Negara Canopy Walkway. This canopy walkway sits 130 feet above the forest floor in Malaysia's Taman Negara National Park. Besides some awesome views, it's a long way down. The Quechua Chaca Bridge. The Quechua Chaca Bridge is near Cusco, Peru. It was made out of woven ichu grass by the members of the ancient Incan Empire. This was over 500 years ago. Incredible. The Suspension Glass Bridge. In Zhangjiajie, China, you can look down, about 980 feet down. The Suspension Glass Bridge spans 2 mountains in Zhangjiajie National Forest Park and opened in August 2016. By September, authorities had to close the bridge due to its popularity. It later reopened with a ticket booking system for visitors. Which bridge was the most dangerous to you? What other dangerous bridges do you think we left out? Write them down in the comments section below and subscribe to Factsverse for more videos.
That shit is insane. Alright. Next, we got top 10 worst places to visit in the United States. Look at it.
What if I told you some of the most famous tourist attractions in the United States actually suck? It's true, the United States is filled with some legendary attractions that really aren't worth your time or money. I'm going to tell you about 10 of them right now. Got it? Get it? Good. Let's take a look. Number 10, the Alamo, San Antonio, Texas. So you finally made it to the Alamo, ready to relive the glory of Texas history. Except instead of a sprawling battlefield, you find yourself in the middle of downtown San Antonio and an old building that's probably smaller than your local post office. You look around searching for Davy Crockett's coonskin cap amongst the disappointed tourists and souvenir shops, only to realize the gift shop is actually bigger than the historical site itself. The parking situation is a joke. The neighborhood around it is ridiculous. It's filled with all kinds of lame souvenir shops and Ripley's, believe it or not, but I was there 2 years ago and I've heard they've cleaned that whole area up a little bit. You'll spend about 5 minutes there and realize that the Riverwalk is much more exciting. Hey, but at least you'll officially be able to say, remember the Alamo, just not for the reasons you'd expect. If you look at the reviews on the Alamo, you'll find that most people agree. Why it sucks? It's smaller and less impressive than visitors expected. The Alamo disappoints about 2.5 million people a year.
That's crazy.
Number 9, Fisherman's Wharf, San Francisco, California. Ah, Fisherman's Wharf, been here many a time. This is San Francisco's shimmering beacon of overpriced mediocrity, a place where the only thing fresher than the seafood is the tourists' wide-eye optimism that this will somehow be different from every other tourist trap they've visited. Let you in on a little secret, it's not. This is a place you can...
I've been there, but when I was there, I was doing shows, so I wasn't there on no tourist shit. I was there getting money, so I don't know. My experience is cool, you know what I'm saying? I fuck with it.
Experience the thrill of being shoulder to shoulder with strangers as you shuffle past overpriced souvenir shops, all the while taking in the intoxicating aroma of sourdough bread bowls filled with some kind of mysterious chowder substance. While you're there, don't forget to get a selfie with a disgruntled sea lion. Their jaded expression perfectly mirrors your own upon realizing you've spent $18 on a plate of fish and chips that taste suspiciously like cardboard. Fisherman's Wharf is a true testament of the power of marketing over substance. Why it sucks? People consider it overly touristy and lacking authentic local culture. Fisherman's Wharf disappoints about 12 million people a year.
Damn. Cold business.
Number 8, Graceland, Memphis, Tennessee. So you finally make your way to Graceland because you are an Elvis fan, and this hallowed ground is rock and roll royalty. You envision a majestic mansion, a place where the spirit of Elvis still lingers, where the walls echo with the sound of Hound Dog and Jailhouse Rock. But as you step off the tour bus, you're greeted with a rather underwhelming sight. It's a glorified suburban dwelling. Inside, the 1970s are alive and well. We're talking about a chaotic blend of shag carpeting, mirrored ceilings, and velvet drapes. You finally make your way to the den, which is called the Jungle Room, and it really looks like your grandparents took mushrooms and decided to decorate with things they found on eBay. Then there's the Meditation Garden, the final resting place of the king himself. Surprisingly small and unassuming. You snap a selfie with a cardboard cutout of Elvis, and you can't help wonder, but is that all there is? Why people say it sucks? Some visitors feel it is overpriced and overly commercialized. Graceland disappoints over 650,000 people a year.
Damn. Ain't that many.
Number 7, the Grand Canyon, Arizona. The first thing you have to understand about the Grand Canyon is it's not in Colorado. Believe it or not, a large amount of this country and the world, for some reason, probably because the Colorado River runs through it, think that the Grand Canyon is in Colorado. No, not.
Who in the hell is thinking that the Grand Canyon is in Colorado? Ain't no way in hell.
Not at all. Colorado is actually over a 3-hour drive away from what can be considered the beginning of the Grand Canyon. One fine spring morning, I took that 8-hour drive to the Grand Canyon from Los Angeles, and I have to admit, I was blown away by its majestic beauty. It is so big, it is a little mind-blowing, but that wears off about 10 minutes after you get there. You find yourself staring at a giant hole. It's filled with rocks, dirt, and the occasional bush. I wandered around and watched people from Iowa melt in the Arizona sun. You can spend some money and take a really nauseating trip to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. The only thing you did was change your view from looking into a hole from looking out of a hole. And I thought to myself, this must be what it's like to be buried. Why do people say it sucks? Because it's only cool for like 20 minutes. Tourists started visiting the Grand Canyon in the late 1800s, and the Grand Canyon was established as a park in 1919 when Woodrow Wilson was president. The Grand Canyon disappoints about 5 million people a year. Number 6, Times Square, New York. Times Square. When you get to Times Square, you think to yourself, this is what the apocalypse would look like if someone dropped a nuclear bomb that was filled with neon lights. You will be harassed by costumed characters that are hustling you for tips. These people, if you're like trying to take a picture of yourself on the street, like someone's about to take a picture of you, they'll walk up behind you and stand there, smile, unsolicited, and then they'll want like $40. I actually saw a dude dressed up like Elmo from Sesame Street, and his outfit looked like he slept in it the night before. It was just stained with tears of disillusioned tourists. Forget people watching, it's like a bizarre obstacle course with a soundtrack of horns and buskers and off-key renditions of pop songs. There is no magic to Times Square. It's actually annoying just to visit the place. Especially if you go there in the summer. I've been there 4 or 5 different times. Every time I've gone there during the summer, it was miserable. The 3 times I went during the winter and it was a little, crisp outside, it was almost tolerable. But Times Square is not where you want to go for any excitement these days. Actually, if you want any excitement in New York, you probably go over to the courthouse and see what's happening there. It's all in the news lately. This week, it's been a little extra with all the reporters covering the Trump trial in New York City, all with their own take on how the trial is going. And that takes us to today's sponsor, Ground News. One of the worst things about the media we consume is that most news organizations have a habit of catering to one side of the political spectrum. This makes you feel like you're on the correct side of history and whatever issue they're talking about. Ground News, the sponsor of today's video, is trying to make these biases more transparent by giving you the tools to help you think critically about the information you consume. A mission I'm 100% on board with. Ground News. These days, it's a real business and a financial incentive to capture and hold your attention. Ground News which is what I use to get trap that has nothing to do with why do people and often seen as a tourist trap that has nothing to do with the real New York City. Over 50 million people are disappointed by Times Square every single year. Number 5, Roswell, New Mexico. So you've packed your bags, filled up your tank, and driven for hours across the barren desert landscape that looks like Mars with the promise of an extraterrestrial encounter in Roswell, New Mexico. But upon arrival, you discover the most alien thing you'll encounter is a questionable green chili cheeseburger. Forget little green men, you're more likely to find little green chili peppers in every single dish. It's like they've got some deal going on with some chili grower or something like that. The UFO Museum, more like a glorified gift shop with an inflatable alien and a questionable collection of evidence. If aliens actually came to planet Earth and landed in Roswell today, they'd probably take a look and turn their ship around and head back to wherever they came from. As you should, as soon as you get to Roswell, New Mexico. Why do people hate it? Aside from the UFO Museum, feels like there's nothing else there. Roswell, New Mexico sees about 200,000 visitors every single year. Why? Number 4, Plymouth Rock, Massachusetts. So you finally reached Plymouth Rock, the alleged landing spot of the Pilgrims. After hours spent in bumper-to-bumper traffic on Route 3, you'll finally score a parking spot that costs more than your first car. Filled with anticipation, you approach the hollowed ground only to find a rock. It's just a rock. I like rocks. This is just rock. I've seen a lot of rocks in my day. This is just another one of them. It's not even large or impressive. It's just a rock. It's cordoned off like endangered panda at the zoo. You can't even touch The Rock. They've got some kind of fear you're going to disrupt the historical integrity of The Rock or a panda. A gift shop nearby hawks plastic replicas, presumably for those who want a souvenir to commemorate their disappointment. All in all, Plymouth Rock might just be the most underwhelming landmark in our nation, a testament to the fact that even history can have a bad day. Why do people hate it? It's underwhelming in size and significance for many visitors. Around 1 million people every single year go look at this rock. Number 3, Niagara Falls, New York. It's also partially in Canada, but we're talking about the Niagara Falls in New York, where the only thing falling faster than the water is your enthusiasm. This once majestic natural wonder is now surrounded by gaudy tourist traps that make Times Square look classy. Stroll down the main drag, and you'll feast your eyes on the crumbling abandoned hotels. Flashing neon signs advertise a wax museum and enough t-shirt shops to clothe a small army. Forget breathtaking views of the falls. Here, you're more likely to catch a glimpse of some guy in a poncho trying to sell you a selfie stick. That is waterproof. In reality, I think they're all waterproof. Honestly, I think a person that's afraid of flying would enjoy the flight to New York to see Niagara Falls more than the actual falls. Why do people hate it? Well, the American side is often considered less impressive compared to the Canadian side. It's like the Americans are half-assing your Niagara experience. Around 8 million people are disappointed by Niagara Falls every single year.
God damn, 8 million. What the fuck?
Number 2, Atlantic City, New Jersey. Atlantic City, where the ocean breeze carries a faint scent of disappointment, and the only jackpot that you'll find is a parking spot that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. The once glamorous boardwalk now creaks under the weight of time and questionable fashion choices, while seagulls circle overhead, plotting their next French fry heist. Sure, the casinos promise a thrilling escape, but the flashing lights and ringing slot machines only serve to remind you of your dwindling bank account. I was there, 15 years ago. I was playing a slot machine. The guy next to me was losing a lot because I kept hearing him open up his wallet. He had a Velcro wallet. That to me became the sound of bad luck. If you're looking for a vacation destination that leaves you feeling underwhelmed and needing a tetanus shot, Atlantic City is a perfect place to roll the dice on disappointment. Why do people hate Atlantic City? It's often perceived as a run-down city and lacking the glamour it once had. About 27 million people are disappointed in Atlantic City every single year. All right, before we get to number 1, did you know we have a channel about cruises? It's called The Sweet Life for Briggs. There's a link for that down below. We'd love it if you went over there and checked it out. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Hollywood, California. This part of California has sent more wannabe models and actresses back to Iowa than anything else. Most people dream of Hollywood and what goes on in Hollywood, and you're gonna make it in Hollywood. That is a shallow pipe dream at best. The Hollywood Walk of Fame is where dreams go to gather dust and chewing gum. Forget the glitz and glamour of the silver screen. This place is more like grime and shine. If anyone ever tells you this is where you go to see stars in, Hollywood or California or something like that, they're lying to you. You're not gonna see any stars.
Believe me, from experience, bro, Hollywood, dirty than the motherfucker. Dirty and nasty. Ain't shit out there. You don't even see them celebrities or stars or whatever and shit. Like, not them A-listers.
Here. If you do, it's some person that played the cadaver on, I don't know, CSI Tuscaloosa. If you see a movie star or television star near this place, they've been suckered into some...
Except I've ran into like a lot of movie stars and shit, and like TV stars is like big A-lister motherfuckers. But like that's during like the red carpet events and shit like that be in Hollywood. And like the little Oscar events and shit that they be having when they be shutting down Hollywood Boulevard. Other than that, you don't be seeing nobody and shit out there except for in them events. But I have ran into some motherfuckers where I'd be like, oh shit, yo, that's you from this show or this movie. And nigga be like, damn. But those are during the events, not on no regular shit.
prank show. You know how I told
You
you
don't
about
see
New York
nobody
City
on the
has
regular
those people
shit.
that, you know, they'll try and get money out of you for taking a picture of them because they're in some freaking costume? So much worse here. And that's just in front of the Chinese theater. Every place else has people sleeping on the sidewalk, trash is everywhere. It's really a disappointing experience. I was reading this review of the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and this guy was going on and on how there was a Spider-Man there that was overweight and wanted to take pictures with people. And he was just like, the gall of this person being an overweight Spider-Man. It's like he was seriously pissed off about Spider-Man being a little thick around the waistline. So why do people hate it? It's often crowded, it's dirty, and an underwhelming experience for visitors. About 10 million people are disappointed by the Hollywood Walk of Fame every single year. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. All right, next up we got 20 most dangerous tourist attractions in the world. Let's get it.
Everybody loves to visit new places. There are a number of locations around the world which will give you nightmares. You will forget your sleep after watching some uncanny attractions. Here are the top 20 dangerous tourist attractions in the world. Mount Huashan. The plank walk on China's Mount Hua is considered by many as one of the most dangerous hikes in the world. Hikers walk across a few planks of wood bolted into the side of a 7,000-foot peak to reach a small shrine. While the hikers are harnessed, it is still a terrifying adventure to many who dare. The amazing fact is, this dangerous tourist attraction is considered one of China's 5 sacred mountains and is one of the most popular tourist attractions and pilgrimage sites for Chinese people. Death Valley. If the Earth is our home, then Death Valley is its scorching hot oven. This stunning desert holds the record for the highest temperature ever recorded on our planet, 134 degrees Fahrenheit or 57 degrees Celsius. No matter how tough you are, the blazing sun and searing heat of Death Valley will burn you out very quickly. The fascinating desert valley is on the eastern border of South Central California, in the northern Mojave Desert. Without water, you can live here for only 14 hours.
At Spectrum, we know life moves fast. Keep up with the speed, reliability, and security of Spectrum Internet. Celebrate virtual gaming victories and stay connected anywhere with Spectrum Mobile.
Hiking Trolltunga. This dangerous tourist attraction is Norway's most spectacular hiking destinations, but it is one of the most dangerous and hardest hiking destinations on Earth. The estimated trekking time is 7 to 10 hours. Signs along the trail show the remaining distance to both Trolltunga and back to the trailhead. There are several options for traveling by bus, and every route takes you via the village of Oda in Hardanger. This is dangerous holiday spot. A 24-year-old Australian girl fell off of Troll's Tongue and died. DeVille Pool, Victoria Falls. Devil's Pool is located atop Victoria Falls, one of the largest waterfalls in the world. The pool has long been a top must-explore tourist destination on the travel bucket list of many adventure lovers. Devil's Pool is located on the Zambezi River, along the Zambia-Zimbabwe border. Here, tourists swim dangerously close to the tipping point of the falls, only prevented from falling by a slippery, submerged lip of rock. One brave Zimbabwean tour guide was presumed dead after plunging 90 meters into Victoria Falls while trying to rescue a tourist in 2009. Stairway to Heaven Hawaii Hike. Located on the windward coast of Oahu, the official name of this hike, the one you would see on the trailhead if you dared to visit for yourself, is Haiku Stairs. One interesting fact is the Stairway to Heaven was built as a way for soldiers to access the radio antenna that sits at the top. In 2015, a storm damaged some parts of the stairs. Instead of fixing the damage, the stairway was fenced off and deemed highly dangerous and illegal to climb. Do you smell danger? Hit the thumbs up sign to let us know how you feel about this video. Death Road. This most dangerous tourist destination in Bolivia is known as Death Road for all of the reasons you guess. Driving up or down this 43-mile switchback is extremely perilous due to fog, landslides, cascades, and cliffs that drop
I think that's the
2,000
one I
feet
seen
at every
Mr.
turn.
Beast on.
The road hardly gets wider than 10 feet. Multiple crucifixes spot the ground as memorials to those who have perished there. Nearly 300 drivers die here every year since 1994. It's no wonder it got the nickname. Yosemite National Park. It's important to keep in mind that the number of mishaps compared to the number of visitors in national parks in California is relatively small. In fact, the Park Service estimates about 150 out of 300 million visitors die annually in national parks across the nation. In Yosemite, an average of 12 to 15 fatalities a year occur due to accidents and other causes such as heart attacks. When some of those accidents happen, it serves as a stark reminder that sometimes the excitement of being in the wilderness, especially in a place as magical as Yosemite, can hinder all common sense. El Caminito del Rey. With narrow platforms, catastrophically poor condition, no handrails or fences, and hanging at a high altitude, this has long been known as the most dangerous hiking trail in the world. The construction process was difficult and dangerous. For some reason, the path was not maintained and over time became dangerous. This did not prevent locals from using it as a shortcut, including children on their way to school. But the reputation of this dangerous ravine in Spain began to spread amongst the rock climbing community as the adrenaline magnet. Trift Bridge. It is the only suspension bridge of the longest walkway in the Swiss Alps. Beside the long trek, the view here may also weaken some people's knees. It is suspended 330 feet from the valley floor and 560 meters in length. This is only the second bridge located in the beautiful valley with a dazzling landscape. In 2004, a huge hydroelectric plant was built under Trift Glacier. The plant collected and controlled the runoff from the glacier. A bridge was needed to reach the power plant below the glacier, and so this precarious position structure was built. However, it is not considered as dangerous as the glass bridge in China. Mountain Everest. Climbing Mount Everest is considered among the most dangerous pursuits in the world, with a fatality rate of 6.5%. Avalanches, cracking ice floes, and deadly crevices are just some of the obstacles faced by climbers. On their part, climbers also contribute to their fatality levels. The chief impediment is extreme altitude sickness. Lack of experience is another major problem facing mountaineers. Many fail to correctly establish their stamina and physical limit. Still want to tackle the Everest? Talk to us down below as we bring you 10 more dangerous tourist spots from around the world. Kokoda and Black Cat Trails. This dangerous tourist destination is a challenging 58-kilometer Papua New Guinea adventure that runs between Salamua and Wau and Morobe province. It is a trail that passes through some of the toughest and most hazardous terrains in the world. Australian diggers have often been heard describing the Black Cat Track as the hardest slog they've ever done. In fact, the Black Cat tracks are harder than the Kokoda tracks. The terrain features dangerous river crossings, swamps, cliffs, fallen trees, moss-covered rocks, and dangerous ledges. This makes the Black Cat Trail one of the toughest tracks in PNG and in the world.
Every month, this Airbnb pays me and send me and I don't pay.
Hawaiian Volcanoes National Park. Usually when visitors enter a restricted area in a national park, they risk being arrested by a ranger. But at Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, you will die of natural causes. Staff at the Hawaiian Volcano Observatory noted that the return to life of the Kilauea volcano brought dangerous levels of volcanic gases, along with the possibility of deadly explosions and volcanic glass particulates that could damage your lungs. Crater edges at Hilameaua and along Kilauea caldera are extremely unstable, and collapses can occur at any time. Mont Blanc Mountain. This tourist attraction is a high-altitude mountain with risks of ice, falls, avalanches, and medical complications. But that's not why the mountain is such a killer. There is a dangerous combination of elements that come together to exacerbate the inherent risks of Mont Blanc. A man in his 40s died while climbing Mont Blanc despite intensive rescue efforts. Mont Blanc, located in the Alps, lies along the French-Italian border and reaches into Switzerland. Jacob's Well. At least 9 people have died diving into Jacob's Well, which is quite high considering the number of people who visit the area. The cave's chambers can be tricky, especially the third one, located 80 feet below the surface. It features a fake exit that has trapped and killed at least one diver. The fourth chamber is perhaps the most dangerous, since it involves squeezing through a very narrow passageway. Heaven's Gate.
That's crazy.
This holiday destination is located at the top of Tiananmen Mountain, 24,500 feet above the city of Zhangjiajie in China's Hunan province. The 999 steps lead visitors to Tiananmen Cave, which is the world's highest naturally formed arch. Visitors can get there using the cable car or choose the harder way, the 999 steps. Land Rover alleges that the Range Rover Sport is the first SUV to reach Heaven's Gate. Is it worth the name? Talk to us and check out the top 5 most dangerous tourist destinations in the world. The Danakil Desert. The main feature of the dangerous desert is the almost complete absence of breathable oxygen in its territory. The air here is smoky and filled with poisonous gases, so people can only be in certain areas of the desert for a very short time without risking their lives. Non-essential travel to the Danakil Desert, including the Erta Ale volcano in the northwestern part of the Afar region, is discouraged due to banditry. Cave of Swallows. The sheer dimensions of this place in Mexico are enough to inspire wonder. At 994 feet wide and over 1,200 feet deep, it's the largest known cave shaft in the world. In 2003, with less than a year of base jumping experience under his belt, Dean Potter stood at the precipice of the Cave of Swallows, a 1,200-foot deep hole in the ground near Mexico City. With a literal death grip on the rope, Potter slowed his fall and survived crashing onto the floor. Snake Island. The island was the only home of the critically endangered venomous Bothrops insularis, which prefers a diet of birds. Millions of snakes became trapped on the island when rising sea levels covered up the land that connected it to the mainland. The worst danger on the island comes in the form of the golden lancehead snake, a species of pit viper and one of the deadliest serpents in the world. Hawksbill Crag. The hike itself is easy and has incredible views. However, it can be very dangerous if you are not careful once you get to the bluffs. Over the past 5 years, 2 people have died as a result of falling off the bluffs. For parents, it's not recommended to take your kids on this hike. Many people recommend on social media that a fence should be placed around the crag. Precipice Trail. The U.S. National Park Service discourages people from hiking down the Precipice Trail for safety reasons. Two-way traffic on the cliffs and iron rungs make this hike even more dangerous. You will hike up the Precipice Trail on one track and back to your car on a different trail. This makes the hike longer, but it will also be much safer. The Acadia National Park Service in Maine reported that approximately 160 people die in national parks every year. A woman fell to her death while climbing in 2012, the first fatality on the trail since 1985. We believe you enjoyed the thrill and shrills of these locations, so we are throwing in 2 more spots for your excitement. Keep liking the video. We like it. The Elephant Kingdom of Chonburi. But first, do us a favor. Click that like button to inspire us. Subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell, and you won't miss any interesting videos. Done then? Let's go. An elephant camp owner and a man-out were charged with recklessly causing death and injuries after an elephant killed a Chinese tour guide and injured 2 tourists. This happened in the Elephant Kingdom in Chonburi, Thailand. Considered the world's most terrifying tourist attraction, the attraction was shut down after disturbing photos emerged of tourists balanced on rafts feeding meat to crocodiles. They used flimsy canes to dangle lumps of beef over the jaws of the reptiles, which then leaped from the water to snatch their lunch. Grand Canyon National Park. This dangerous place has between 15 and 20 fatalities and 300 search and rescue incidents reported per year. The most common cause of death are airplane crashes, falls, and dangerous environmental conditions such as overheating or drowning. Grand Canyon is in the northwest corner of Arizona, close to the borders of Utah and Nevada. The Colorado River, which flows through the canyon, drains water from 7 states, but the feature we know as Grand Canyon is entirely in Arizona. Which one did you find the scariest attraction? Do you want to visit any of them? Let us know in the comments below.
Ever heard of someone being raised by wolves? Well, today we've got true stories that take that idea to a whole new level. From a toddler crawling alongside wild dogs to a boy who literally chirps with birds. These unbelievable tales will make you question just how adaptable humans can be in the animal kingdom. In a frostbitten corner of Russia, a 3-year-old girl named Medina lived as one of the pack. When social workers found her in 2013, she was naked, crawling on all fours and growling to communicate with her only caregivers, a couple of mongrel dogs. Her alcoholic mother often wandered away, leaving Medina to snuggle and survive with the dogs for warmth and food. Amazingly, Medina gnawed on bones alongside her canine family and even barked at strangers. Despite her wild start, authorities say this Mowgli girl was able to get medical care and start learning to be human again. From barking to chirping, Prava's story swaps puppies for parrots. This 7-year-old boy from Russia lived in a tiny apartment filled with dozens of pet birds. His mother never spoke to him, not a single word, treating him more like another pet. Surrounded by constant chirping, Prava learned only the language of birds. When rescuers entered in 2008, he flapped his arms like wings and tweeted frantically, desperate to be understood. Having had zero human conversation, Prava would cock his head and peck at his food just like his feathered friends. It took specialists and therapists to slowly coax him out of his shell, or rather his cage. Can you imagine only knowing how to talk to birds? Tweet, and we're not talking about Twitter. Our next tale is plucking at the strings of disbelief. Sujit Kumar, known as the Chicken Boy, spent his childhood confined to a chicken coop. After showing developmental issues, his desperate family literally kept him with the hens. By the time Sujit was found at age 8, he clucked, pecked at his food, and even walked like a chicken, a jerky bird-like strut. Imagine walking into the road and seeing a boy flapping his arms and clucking madly. That's exactly how Sujit was discovered. He'd perch on chairs instead of sitting and make rapid tongue-clicking noises mimicking a rooster's call. It's a tragic story, but with a hopeful turn, Sujit was rescued and placed in care. He had to learn that handshakes are okay, and pecking people is not. High in the remote mountains of Peru, a little boy named Daniel found an unlikely family among goats. When discovered at age 12 in 1990, Daniel had apparently spent 8 years living with a goat herd. His survival trick? Drinking raw goat's milk straight from the source and foraging whatever roots and berries he could find. He was even seen trying to graze on grass alongside his goat siblings. Rescuers noted Daniel's astonishing agility on the rocky terrain. He could scamper up steep slopes as deftly as the goats. He preferred to sleep nestled in their fur for warmth and butted heads playfully like one of the herd. It took time for Daniel to adjust to cooked meals and clothes after being the ultimate goat boy. Who needs a nanny when you have a nanny goat? What's even cuddlier than goats? Perhaps sheep, but this next case is far from a bedtime story. In 2009, authorities in Kyrgyzstan found a 14-year-old boy who had been living with sheep for 8 years. After his parents left him with an elderly grandmother who sadly passed away, the boy sought comfort in a flock of sheep during a storm and never left their side. He survived harsh winters by huddling among woolly bodies and ate whatever the flock grazed on. When found, he refused. Cooked food had no concept of human speech and would panic if separated from his beloved flock. This sheep boy even tried to return to the fields at every chance, clearly believing he was safer with his 4-legged family. It took a lot of patience to help him unlearn life as a lamb. It's baffling to think about, but in his eyes, humans were the strange ones. Time to trade fluffy sheep for something fiercer. In the 1930s, Turkish hunters got the shock of their lives after shooting a mother bear. A ferocious little wood spirit attacked them in retaliation, only to turn out to be a young girl. This wild child had reportedly lived for years with that she-bear, in a cave, essentially becoming the bear's cub. She had bear-like habits and a raw growl, walking on all fours, and even snatching up uncooked meat with her bare hands, pun intended. Captured and taken to an orphanage, the bear girl refused all cooked food and would sleep curled up in a dark corner on the floor. Locals realized a toddler had gone missing from a nearby village years prior, presumably adopted by the nurturing bear. It's a startling example of nature's embrace. A predator became a protector. One has to wonder, when it came time for bed, did she prefer a bedtime story or a lullaby of growls? Deep in the forests of India, a toddler was found in 1972 playing with wolf cubs as if they were his brothers. They named him Shamdeo, and he was about 4 years old, though his skin was sun-blackened and his nails were long like claws. Shamdeo had some wild habits that stunned his rescuers. He loved raw meat and would hunt chickens for a snack, preferred the taste of blood, and had sharpened teeth as if nature equipped him for a predator's life. He even befriended wild dogs and jackals in the forest. Brought to an orphanage, Shamdeo never learned to speak, only communicating with gestures and growls. He did learn some sign language eventually, but he remained more comfortable with animals than people for the rest of his life. Shamdeo's tale, though, less known, echoes another famous Indian story coming up, soon proof that the raised by wolves legend isn't just a myth in these parts. The jungles of India weren't home to just wolf children. Around 1912, a boy was reportedly snatched from his parents by a leopardess in the North Kachar Hills. 3 years later, he was miraculously found and reunited with humans, but by then he was truly a leopard's child. He ran on all fours faster than an adult man could sprint, darting in and out of bushes with feline agility. Villagers who caught him noted his hands and feet were hardened like an animal's paws, and he even preferred raw meat tearing into prey in seconds, just like a leopard would. Initially, he would bite and fight anyone who came near, much like a cornered wildcat. Over time, he relearned some human ways, but one can imagine the confusion in his eyes at a world without his leopard mother. This boy's extraordinary speed and reflexes earned him the nickname Leopard Boy, a living, breathing Jungle Book character. One of the most legendary feral tales from India is that of Kamala and Amala, often dubbed the Wolf Girls. In 1920, a missionary in Bengal claimed to have captured 2 girls from a wolf's den. The sisters, estimated at about 8 years old and 2 years old, had been living in a wolf pack's burrow, apparently cared for by a she-wolf. The descriptions of their behavior were astonishing. They howled at the moon, walked on all fours, and had eyes that reflected light at night like a cat's. They would snarl and attempt to bite anyone who got too close, and refuse cooked food, only tearing into raw meat. Over time, the younger girl Amala fell ill and died, but Kamala survived until 1929. Kamala did eventually learn to stand upright and speak a few words, about 50 in total, but her wild beginnings left a lasting mark. Some debate the accuracy of the details. Was it exaggerated to sound like a myth? But the story of Kamala and Amala endures, symbolizing our fascination with children of the wild. In the rainforests of Colombia, a little girl named Marina Chapman went missing from her village, the result of a botched kidnapping, and ended up living with capuchin monkeys for 5 years. Yes, real monkeys. Marina was only about 5 years old when she was abandoned in the jungle in the 1950s, and she survived by observing and mimicking the monkeys. She ate berries, roots, and bananas that the capuchins munched on, and slept in hollow trees or nests they made. One time, she got severely food poisoned after eating tamarind. She credits an old monkey with saving her life by leading her to water and forcing her to drink, making her purge the toxins. Over the years, the monkeys accepted Marina as one of their own. She learned to climb trees expertly and even communicate with them through gestures and sounds. When hunters finally found her, Marina had forgotten human language, entirely chattering instead in monkey-like squeaks. Her adventures didn't end there. She was sold to a brothel from which she escaped, lived as a street kid, and eventually was adopted into a loving family. In adulthood, Marina reclaimed her voice literally, and even wrote a book about her life called The Girl with No Name. Who would believe a housewife in England was once a jungle girl swinging through trees? Marina's incredible journey from monkey to mother and author shows that feral children can find their way back to our world. Before we swing further into even wilder stories, if you're enjoying these unbelievable tales, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more mind-blowing content. We've got plenty more feral child stories coming up, and you won't want to miss the most jaw-dropping one at number 1. Our next child of the wild also found family in the treetops. John Sabunya from Uganda was just 3 years old when tragedy struck. He witnessed his father commit a terrible crime, which drove John to flee into the jungle. There, a troop of vervet monkeys discovered the frightened toddler, and instead of harming him, they befriended him. For about 3 years, John survived in the wild with these monkeys. They showed him what fruits and nuts were safe to eat, and even cuddled with him at night to keep him warm. When villagers finally found John in 1991, he had knees whitened by walking on all fours, and could only communicate by yelping and grunting. At first, he was terrified of people, having had no human contact for years. But John's story has a positive ending. He was gradually rehabilitated and learned human language again. In fact, John adapted so well that he later joined a children's choir and even went on to compete in the Special Olympics. Talk about going from jungle to jingle, this monkey boy found his voice and used it to sing. It's not just Africa and Asia. Europe has its own Tarzan. Marcos Rodriguez Pantoja was a Spanish boy who in the 1950s lived 12 years in the mountains with a pack of wolves. His early life was harsh. Sold by his father, Marcos ended up in the wilderness tending goats with an old herder. When the herder died, 7-year-old Marcos was left completely alone until the wolves came. At first he hid in a cave with wolf cubs, and the mother wolf brought him meat instead of treating him as prey. Over the years, Marcos became feral himself, hunting rabbits, sleeping in caves, and running barefoot over rocky terrain. Locals who eventually caught him said Marcos could howl like a wolf and often did so instead of speaking. Having missed out on human childhood, he struggled with social norms when reintroduced to civilization as a teenager. Even well into his later life, Marcos is in his 70s now. He admitted he often felt more comfortable with animals than with humans. His story inspired a movie Entre Lobos and serves as a real-life Jungle Book saga, minus a Baloo or Bagheera. Marcos proves that the call of the wild can be louder than the voices of society, especially when those wolves gave him the only kindness he'd ever known. For our next stop, we travel back in time to 1903 South Africa, where a boy named Lucas was found living with a troop of baboons. Yes, baboons, those big fierce monkeys with long fangs. Local stories say Lucas, a native South African child, had been lost or abandoned and nurtured by a baboon troop from a very young age. By the time people discovered him, Lucas had adopted all the baboon mannerisms. He would shout and bark in baboon language, bare his teeth defensively, and walk in a crouched posture. It was reported that some adult baboons protected him when humans approached, almost like they were defending one of their own. It must have been a terrifying yet heartwarming sight, a protective primate family shielding a human child. Lucas's story is less documented than others. Record-keeping was spotty back then, but locals passed it down as a striking example of nature blurring the lines with humanity. Just picture a child riding on a baboon's back as they scamper up a cliff. It sounds like something out of a legend, but by all accounts, Lucas lived it. This baboon boy reminds us that in the wild kingdom, sometimes even the most untamed creatures show compassion to a lost human cub. Which of these unbelievable stories shocked or amazed you the most? And do you think you could survive growing up in the wild with a pack of animals as your only family? Let us know in the comments. Like always, if you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a big thumbs up and leave us some love in the comments section. To keep up to date with all of our awesome videos,
sick of bitch niggas from the city with that rapping. They know I make it happen, I ain't rapping. I'm on dope pay, bitch, and I'm acting. Yeah, he had dissed me, bitch, and I smashed him. Pious, how about that? It's a mustache, we can't so back together. Bitch, I do you daddy, cut you swerving with that black beretta. Running low $1 million cash, what about Coachella? I want that shit that make you flash, cause it smoke better. Racks on a nigga hoe, racks, I should do it better. Racks, that little nigga broke, I put his ass on top of the stretch. I'll rob you on the second time I met you, bitch. Talk about beefing when I meet you, greet you with a blitz. Man, I hate a pussy nigga. I once had to show the pussy nigga. Pussy boy, say you lucky nigga. I had them young niggas in your yard waiting in your bushes, nigga. You ain't gonna pop out waiting with the run and he tryna cook a nigga. I'ma act bad and I'm gon' flash off these daddy jiggers. Get in my feelings by my cousin and we married niggas. I'ma get him zip straight off the rip, that's if he's swerving with you. Claim that he really know who he is, he got him saving with you. I'm a big truck, what? Roll out them pills inside the field, I cannot slip up. We don't give no fuck, sleep till 1 a.m. I pulled up mud. I just watching the clock. Fuck about what she. Strap the graveyard, nigga. This why I be try to catch a new OP. I was riding G-Wagon with a dead ass chain, but a nigga look so neat. I don't even talk to the bitch. I got tired of the hoe, but she still be on me. Belly ain't ride with the stick, but the hoe real on me. Don't fuck with the police. Still don't want to go let me travel. They think they let Texas been stopping my money. I don't give a fuck about the bitch. I'ma sit in my mouth and go kill me something. I don't give a fuck about your clip. We gon' sit front the house and go drill or something. How about that motherfucking lamb and it came with exhaust? I don't really care what she said, but my dick it up out. I don't want tired of the mansion, so I bought a brand new house. Kept the same stick that killed your mans, and I put it in my grandpa's house. No young boy got the bitch on Zans, and I'm clearing out all of those. We take those sticks and we fill up a van. We take those sticks and we taking you out. I first paint my face, bitch stop. Her waiting outside the show come out. Woke up out my sleep, it was 1 a.m. and I pulled up mud. I was just watching the cop, I don't even care about what a bitch was. Swear to God, for the live my motherfucking life just like a dog. I sent the fire with a chop as soon as I heard they was in the club. Bitch doing all that poppin', stupid ass hoe about to get herself drugged. Knife on my face, I'm a great dick. I'm a made man and I made niggas. Break up a hit, no I'm paying something. I already know I ain't playing with you. Won't hit in his face like 100 times. I went to war like 100 times. I want that shit you get put on your dick. I'ma walk in that bitch with 100 slams. Pushing a tank, bitch. Up in my rank, bitch. Hang out my gun, acting like you won't do something, get hit with a shank. Thinking about it, seducing a nigga, get hit with a shack. I already know every time that I do something, they calling the cops. I came back from dead, it was 1 a.m. and I pulled up mud. I was just watching the clock, I ain't giving one fuck about what a bitch was. Promise, I swear to God forever, I'm living my motherfucking life like a dog. I sent the fire with a cutter, soon as I heard they was inside the club. Me 4K trap one-on-one, bitch ain't nigga better have your gun. Got with a switch, you get hit with a dub. I already know I'ma keep me one, I already know that I'm gone off drugs. I was just waiting on a bitch to come, stupid ass nigga get hit in the club. Caught from the story, it gotta be done. Lame ass bitch, I'ma get the whole drug. Me get spit, don't tell me nothing, bitch. I don't want lick, but they stay on my dick. Whoever we catch them like, that's what we killing that boy. We forever till I die, nigga, build that shit. Young nigga so reckless that I'm the most ignorant that he get. I don't even care what she say. I don't want tired of the mansion, so I bought a brand new house. Kept the same stick that killed your mans, and I put it in my grandpa's house. No young boy got the bitch on Zans, and I'm clearing out all of those. We take those sticks and we fill up a van. We take those sticks and we taking you out. I first paint my face, bitch stop. Her waiting outside the show come out. Woke up out my sleep, it was 1 a.m. and I pulled up mud. I was just watching the cop, I don't even care about what a bitch was. Swear to God, for the live my motherfucking life just like a dog. I sent the fire with a chop as soon as I heard they was in the club. Bitch doing all that poppin', stupid ass hoe about to get herself drugged. Niggas, they let me slide. Want them for the test me, just so that I can lay one down. Top of the side of the Chevy, young niggas, they spraying right. Show no slick, talking down. Where you at? I gun you down. Where you at? Gun you down. I already know we don't play like that. Lame ass shit from across the neck, gon' get you stretched. Yeah. At the top of them throwing out fatty. Ride these pussy and nigga, they let me. Down when these scary ass nigga come test. Flag on stick while you hang out the shit. I'm on it, I'm with it, my nigga, let do it. Gotta check the first two and you know that I blew. Finna check every two, get that money run through. Buy me up, we got flex, but I already knew. Young nigga rich and it drive me insane. It's at the pain, it's just part of the game. Rap ass nigga in the studio playing. I got to play for the night, I just blame. Gang style. And you already know on that side play. With the Glock on top across his head. Yeah, I spine side. Guns waiting outside where you stay. Yeah, who you think stink? This is me, I'm 23 and running. Clapping me, get back in man. It's out of the screaming out fatty. Rob these niggas, they let me slide. Want them for the test me, just so that I can lay one down. Top of the side of the Chevy. Young niggas, they spraying right. Show no slick. in they neck for they fitty. I got a stick for them niggas that's petty. Premium gas and I come down lit. Riddles they can't comprehend in my sound. I got a lot of directs in my home. Banging that flex for my nigga, he gone. Talking about murder, I'm changing the time. Take a pay, won't fuck me now. Know that I will just chill, okay. Them niggas chill when I walk in the place, I put up in the race. Slamido, start only bro, don't pull up with a Drake and hop out on the street. But me talking about cash, that money confetti. Whenever you bring up, I be get right when we meet. Gang style. And you already know that side play. With the Glock on top across his head, yeah. I spank side. I'm guns waiting outside where you stay, yeah. Who you think stink? This is me, I'm 23 and running. Clapping, then get back the money. Type on the screaming out fetty. Rob these niggas, they let me slide. Want them for the test me, why? Just so that I can lay one down. Top of the side of the Chevy. Young niggas, they spraying around. Show no slick. Talking down. Where you at? I got you down.
Hey, huh? Hey, wow. Hey. If you down, get behind me and push. I used to hide my joints in the bush. I couldn't take them in the house off the couch. Ask any of the homies, they could vouch. Got it jumping like it hopped out a pouch. Big bitches don't deserve me. Used to ride dirty. Shorty, it was you when I was whipping 930. I be up early. Carolyn and Shirley could tell you since a itty bitty boy I've been worthy. I've been getting paper. Look where it could take you. Hanging out the window, waving high to the haters. Baby, I'm a player. Now litigators. Just a lick. A flavor you can savor. Russ can't save her. I ain't Captain Save 'em.